Good afternoon, guys. Today we're going to go a little bit over the distributive property. I know we've already talked about it. However, I wanted to talk about some specific factors and how we break them up. We usually don't want to use the distributive property unless we're uncomfortable with some of the factors. Multiplying by 6 or 7 or 8 or 9, 12. We might not be comfortable with those facts and we might not have a great understanding of them yet, which the distributive property really helps us get a handle on them and helps us break it down into smaller, easier to work with problems, so then we can add it up and find out the answer. So the definition of a distributive property is, the distributive property is used to break apart facts to find the product. So kind of just like what I said, we're going to break apart the fact, then add it back together, which will give us the total product for that problem. Example, 8 times 4. If you are not comfortable with your 8 facts, then you should use the distributive property to find this answer out. I can break this up. I can break the 4 up or I can break the 8 up. That's up to you. I normally like to break the larger number up. In this problem here, I didn't. I broke the smaller number up. But that's totally up to you. But the 8 is what I normally would want to break up because that's the number I'm uncomfortable with in the problem. So here I broke up the 4 into 2 and 2. The 8 stayed the same. So now I have 8 times 2, which gives me 16, plus 8 times 2, which gives me another 16. And when I add both 16 and 16, I get 32, and 32 is the answer to 8 times 4. That's the product. So all I did was take the 4 and break it up into 2 and 2 instead of 4. Gave me 2 simpler to use problems that I could add back together. Alright, we're going to look at the distributive property with the factor 6. The factor 6 can be broken up into several different ways. It can be broken up to 1 plus 5, or 5 plus 1, 2 plus 4, or 4 plus 2, and 3 plus 3. Those are the different ways you can break up 6. Now, I have an example here for each one of the ways I broke it up. So here I broke it into 1 and 5. So 6 times 4, if I don't know my 6 facts, then I might have a problem with that. I'm going to break the 6 up because it's larger. 6 times 4 turns into, 6 is being broken up into the 1 and the 5. Now I just have 2 smaller problems that I'm going to add back together. The 4, if you notice, stayed the same. 4 in this one and 4 in this one. But I broke the 6 up into the 1 and the 5. So 1 times 4 gives me 4. 5 times 4 gives me 20. Then I have to add those 2 up and I get 24. The product to 6 times 4 is 24. I just found this in another way. It's just another way to solve your multiplication problem. I could have drawn a picture with groups and put 4 in each group and counted up that way. This way I just use the facts that I already know. I already have a good understanding of my 4 facts and my 5s to know how to do that, and then I can add them up. Over here I have 2 plus 4. That's how I broke up 6. So my problems down here, I'm going to have 2 separate multiplication problems in which I will come back and add together. I got 2 times 4. My 4 stays the same. I'm not changing my 4. And 4 times 4, because that's what I broke the 6 into. 2 and 4. So I get 8 plus 16. That as well gives me 24, which is the product to 6 times 4. I just broke the 6 up into 2 and 4 in this one. That's it, instead of 1 and 5. Over here on this side, I broke the 6 up into 3 and 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 4 plus 3 times 4. And the reason why the 4s are the same here is because the 4 never changed. The 3s are the same because those are how I broke the 6 up. They just happen to be the same. Well, 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 plus 12 gives me 24. Again, all my products are the same. I just broke my 6 up differently in order to find 6 times 4. Alright, the distributive property for factor 7. The same thing's true for factor 7. It can be broken up into several different ways as well. I can break up the 7 times 4. I can break up 7 because I want to break up the bigger number. I can break it up into 1 plus 6, 2 plus 5, or 3 plus 4, or vice versa. 5 plus 2, 4 plus 3, however you want to do it. This is the same fact. Here I have 1 and 6. I broke the 7 up into 2. So in my smaller problems, I'm going to have 1 times 4. And 6 times 4. My 4 stays the same, but I broke up the 7 into 1 and 6. 1 times 4 is 4. 6 times 4 is 24. 4 plus 24 gives me 28. 28 is the answer to 7 times 4. I just broke the 7 up. Here I broke the 7 up into 2 plus 5. I have 2 times 4 because the 4 stays the same, plus 5 times 4. The 5 and the 2 are coming from that 7. So 2 times 4 is 8. 5 times 4 is 20. When I add those up, I get 28. That is the answer to 7 times 4. Over here, I broke it up into 3 plus 4. So my 7 turns into a 3 and a 4 in my smaller problems. 7 comes into 3 here. 3 times 4 plus 4 times 4. I get 12 plus 16 gives me 28. All of them equal 28 because that's the answer. That's the product to 7 times 4. I just found it in a different way. If you're not comfortable with your 7s facts, this is a good idea for you to practice. And our last one for this video is distributive property with factors of 8. This can also be broken up into several different ways. How many different ways can you get 8? Well, I can do 1 plus 7, 2 plus 6, 3 plus 5, 4 plus 4. Or these could be flip-flopped, 5 plus 3. It still equals 8. Here I broke down each one again. This one I broke the 8 into 1 and 7. 1 times 4, 4. 7 times 4, 28. Add them up, 32. 8 times 4 is 32. I just broke the 8 up into 1 and 7. Over here I broke it up to 2 plus 6. As you can see, I have 2 times 4, 6 times 4, add them up, 32. Good to go. Here I broke it up to 3 plus 5, 3 times 4, 5 times 4. Add it up, 32. Here I broke 8 up into 4 plus 4. 4 times 4 plus 4 times 4. I got 16 plus 16 gives me 32. This just shows you can break that 8 up into different ways in order to find the same answer. This is 4 different ways to solve this problem. And there's other ways to solve this problem too. I could have broke the 4 up instead into different ways. However, always break up the larger number because it's just easier to work with. And that's our last slide for this video. Please be watching for our next video, which will contain distributive property for factors 9, 10, 11, and 12. Thanks.